Yeah, hello Tushar.
Hey Akash.
Hi. So we heard you have been moved to a new responsibility in Google. So how are things over there?
Yeah, so I think everything new is challenging. So a bit of learning, all those things. So a lot of travel, new people, everything, all new challenges. So it's good. It will take some time, but it's that's why we are here to kind of explore the area that I was handling. I created and I settled it. It's working really well. So they asked me to solve another new mess. So I said, okay, we'll go do that.
Sure. So we'll get to know more about it. Meanwhile, let me introduce you to the participants present over here this afternoon. So good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to yet another episode of Tech Titan, where we are in discussion with a prominent personality from Google. Just to introduce you briefly, to our audience. So, guys, Tushar is a seasoned engineering leader. So, he has been working for over 2 decades now and has been managing several projects, teams, transforming businesses across different industries. Currently, he is serving as the director of engineering for the Google Cloud Business Platform, where he oversees a team of more than 200 engineers and managing even more people indirectly. He focuses on strategy, hiring, growth, establishing center of excellences, and other product areas. And we'll get to know directly from him about the changing landscape of cloud computing, the emergence of generative AI, and about his work and life balance in general. So thank you, Tushar, for gracing our afternoon today with your presence.
Thank you, and I'm really appreciate inviting me. I hope I can leave some of my experience that excites people around here. But
Absolutely.
I'm just curious that who are we? Who are we having? How many people are here? I couldn't see on the screen. Just a bit of background would definitely help. Akash.
So we have people from different backdrops. So we have people from university pursuing
Mhm.
BTechs, BScs, MScs. We have people from IITs, IIMs pursuing executive education programs, and we have some US university people as well. So our general diaspora of audience.
Great. Hello, everyone. I'm not able to see you, but hopefully you can hear me well.
Sure, Tushar. So to start off with, now in your career so far, and it's still ongoing, and even at this point, you have quite an illustrious career. So just to tell you a bit more about Tushar, guys, before going into Google Cloud Systems, right, he has also driven business and experience at Waymo, where Tushar directed business system engineering, implementing cloud, SaaS, AI solutions. He has been a pioneer at Fitbit, where he has revolutionized a lot of processes and the business. He has also taken care of SAP solution implementation. His background also involved NetApp, where he has managed the global supply chain and business applications. Oracle, where he has developed functional designs for Oracle R12 modules and several other laws to his name. So, how did all of this begin and culminate in this wonderful experience of over 2 decades? So, how did you get motivated basically in the early days?
Yeah, so when I finished my engineering, typically in India we say that no matter whatever engineering you do, you end up in some sort of software or computer technologies. So I finished my engineering in electronics and instrumentation. I was quite passionate, right? So from the childhood, I made my own transistors, speakers, etc., doing some assembly, soldering of registered transistors together. But back in 2002-ish time, right? So when I finished my engineering, I was kind of looking for a core job in my electronics and instrumentation work stream. But that time in India, the manufacturing sector or electronic sector was like really challenging, right? So I indeed got a job, and I started in some of our core electronics companies. Like for example, my first proper job was in a Jabil Circuits, which is a like a global conglomerate who manufactures outsourced manufacturing. For example, it's similar to Foxconn, for example, right? So, and that point of time, we were building like Siemens power supplies. That the medical equipment, their power supplies are
Right.
much more complex, and the Apple's Macintosh, and creating some power components for that, like batteries and power circuits and chargers, etc. So I got into the electronic side of the engineering and my core work stream, but I saw less and less opportunities in India that time, and indeed, probably that was very few manufacturing company existed at that point of time. So naturally, I was gravitated where we had more opportunities, like in the the engineering or computer science side of it. So I got a fantastic opportunity where I could connect my technology knowledge with business side of the house and creating applications or solution that helps in business processes. So that's where
Right.
my first transformation came in, where I took my core knowledge, the applications that were built around it, and took that to a matured state ERP application such as that time it was Oracle, right? So Oracle or SAP were two big names that time, right? Around 2003 or 4, there was Google was not that big name, right? So if you see, Oracle was like Google at that point of time, and I got an opportunity to kind of kickstart my career at that point of time, moving from the core traditional engineering manufacturing sector to the more sophisticated software and technology sector. So that's how I kind of persuaded my first move into technology. So I'll just pause because otherwise it will be, we'll just go with the theme. So that attracted me because I thought that the technology, in especially on the side of computer science, or core engineering, which kind of assembles and building application solutions, will revolutionize in future, and there'll be a lot more opportunities, especially in India. So because talent and availability in the market, a lot of big companies coming here, and that era has started, right? So when a lot of things were moving from US to India, and the technology center of excellence were set up, so I thought this is the right time for me to embark on the career where we have more opportunities and could see faster growth.
Right. So this is how all of this began and then got kick-started. So, and after that, you have transitioned into a lot of roles across different companies. So how
Right.
has that transition been? How did you manage going from one place to another and then quickly adapting to that culture, to the requirements, and then also excelling at it?
Yeah. So I am a person who is generally excited with change, because you know the variety of learning that I get, that kind of gives me the kick, right? So for example, right, so when I joined in Oracle, right, so I was one of the key product engineering leads for a specific segment of manufacturing, because I came from the manufacturing side. So obviously I was the person of choice to build systems around it. For example, we I was part of a team where we did the manufacturing process automation through ERP systems, and also I had one more product called OSFM. So it's called Oracle Shop Floor Manufacturing, which was really built around to do silicon manufacturing, right? So like for example, everything that's involved that goes into a circuit board, and how that manufacturing process is managed is through OSFM solution, because those are very, very complex processes. When you like for example, very simple example, when you start building a register, you start with some raw material, and you might think that I will make a 10 ohms register, but during the manufacturing process you don't know what the end outcome would be. Is it 11 ohms or 12 ohms, and all this, all the manufacturing yield process, or throughout the manufacturing process the quality and other things changes, and your last product would be something different. So it takes a variety of course of action. So I kind of got into you know building applications for manufacturing companies where they can run more predictability and streamline their manufacturing processes to get these kind of things. But then again, I was soon very limited to that sector, right? So and I wanted to grow my horizon, so I started looking out to do different things. Like when I was at Oracle, even that time I was early in my career. I would say I was only 3 to 4 years of experience that time. But one thing I noticed is that if I have to learn something, nobody's gonna give and come and give it to me, right? Saying that, oh, go ahead because you are so enthusiastic, you are capable enough, let's go just do another 5 things, right? So we really trust you. That doesn't happen in industry. It's rather a pull versus push, right? So So I started going and exploring other areas very silently, and started looking at the product documentation, playing around systems, looking at the test scripts written during the product releases, and try to simulate some of this stuff. So uh, while I was having a direct responsibility, I started also indirectly learning, so that I was able to see a very broad pictures, right? So versus staying on a depth of knowledge, where which is good for some people, but I really wanted to kind of broaden my horizon. So that's where my every change comes in. Every time I got into a position where I thought that I've done well, now I know a lot, I need some more fun or additional expanded learning, I just go and seek something else. So that's how I moved from Oracle, because it's a product company, to a bit of engineering consulting in a very boutique firm, where I had to expand in not just manufacturing solutions, but also like supply chain related IoTs, and your order management, bit of finance, all technologies around. I was bounced in as a consultant at that point of time. So that gave me a lot of industry knowledge, and trying to find out what works best for me.
Right. And how did you find the time to learn on the side? As you mentioned, you ventured into a lot of things out of your own
Yeah.
interest. So, along with managing jobs, leading teams, how did you find that time in your daily life to learn and adapt to new things?
Yeah, primarily, self motivated, right? So I would say it's all in our mind time. So I also, if you look at my current state, I also work very late. I'm workaholic in a way. I do not see that as a work life balance issue, because I enjoy learning and doing certain things. So probably, I work almost every day till late 12 to 14 hours, but I also know how to take breaks in between, right? So and also enjoy life, making small trips where I can rejuvenate myself. But at the end, I always see that where I'm going to be in the next 2 years or 3 years, right? So have a vision for myself, and trust me, I am in almost 21, 22 years in the industry. Nothing goes without an hard work, right? So there is no alternate from hard work, right? So and learning, continuous learning will keep you ahead of the game. So even at Google, the technologies keeps changing so much, we have to keep up with that. It's a
Right.
technology company. The brightest minds we hire from the top colleges, if you see, they're probably much better than me in terms of creating the codes, the designs, and all those things. That's the latest technology. So it's always inspiring to see that how almost as you grow, you have to keep up into technology in some space, so that you can continue to influence and run large scale teams and get the best out of them. So yeah, so long story short, you know learning is key, right? So make your own time, be self motivated, be goal oriented, and reward yourself, right? So I always keep some reward for myself when I achieve something, and go treat myself in
That's
some
a
way.
nice way of, yeah, summing it up, to keep something at the end of the tunnel for yourself.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. We have a question from a curious audience member. He's
Yes.
asking if AI is becoming more and more relevant in making information systems better or making them improved. And where does analytics then fit into all of this with the recent advancements?
Yeah, great question. I will tell my this. I'll take two examples, right? So one is, we have been talking AI quite a lot based on the generative AI making a lot of big buzz. But when I joined Waymo is our self-driving technology company, right? Where we are actually driving more than 4 or 5 cities now in US without anybody behind the wheels, right? So you order a car through a Uber network or through Waymo app if you are kind of enrolled customer, and the car arrives without no one having it. It's almost like sci-fi in action, right? So real sci-fi in action, not in movies, right? So and I was fortunate enough to be the sort of a CIO for Waymo, and build all the back-end systems, all our manufacturing, maintenance, billing ecosystem, so that we can go to market and launch these cars, right? So at that point of time, this was my first real touch and feel experience of AI, right? So earlier than that, we always had that, even me being at Google and other companies, I had that basic jargons or understanding of AI. Oh, machine learning will do this, deep learning will do that, right? So, and this is how we will automate, lead the mankind and all those things. This was all more like a story, and we had few example. Of course, Google uses that on search, YouTube, and a lot of other products we use AI. But that was my real experience when I saw that how it is going to impact everyone's life, because transportation is an industry that's unbelievable, right? So in Western countries we don't have drivers that cheap, right? So they're not available, right? So at that point of time, creating a technology that solves solves this kind of problem is real. And if you see how the self-driving car works, right, there are multiple, more than 10 sensors, or maybe more than 20 sensors. I forgot the real number, right? So it was like at least 6 7 cameras, lidars, which has near range radars, and the actual radars that goes in an airplane, right? So we actually ingest all those information, compute locally in the car, right? Because the car has to be safe, cannot be hacked, or cannot be controlled, right, remotely, and take three decisions in a milliseconds, right? So if you see the heights of AI that was used in route planning, to cars control, to our perceptions and vision APIs, right? So this was amazing amount of technology coming through and kind of augmenting into a physical product, which is our everyday car, right? So trust me, the car is no different, right? So these days, the cars that you drive, it's almost an ECU, right? So you hit the brakes, actually a computer does it. You hit the accelerator, a computer does it. You have a power steering that's assisted, right? So the physical car is no different, but how does AI coming in and augmenting on top of it and making it happen, right? So I do feel like, long story short, I do feel that AI is going to be in AI is right now in your pocket, in your phone, right? So maybe listening, right? So maybe understanding your preferences, everyday use, AI is everywhere, right? So that too, if I talk about more around Google Cloud, right? So cloud computing is the primary pillar for AI, right? So yeah, you cannot, any businesses cannot be very successful running their own AI. We know that how expensive infrastructure is, right? So a GPU or CPU, or if if you know about TensorFlow, you need TPUs. These are not for everybody, right? So we only see AI and Apple, Meta, Google, etc., because these are all like super rich, top notch companies with cash flows. But if you are any other business that you're going, and infrastructure costs the most, right? So in Google Cloud, we build product that enables AI much faster, in a pay as you go, and choose your own infrastructure without having to have a physical systems at your client side, right? So if you look at right from our state of the art Vertex AI solution, which is a AI/ML platform, right? So where you can basically, you don't have to build a platform, right? Plug in your data, use our APIs that's available, be it vision or speech or translation, or choose from a model garden up to Gemini. Gemini has many other versions, up to 1.5. You can get the most advanced version, having to build your own infrastructure, right? So many businesses are able to run their applied AI or generative AI using the cloud off the shelf AI platforms and model gardens that are available, right, including AutoML. These are the latest trends. If you ask me how I use as an engineering leader at Google, here is what's happening, right? So 2 3 years back, we were coached to think AI first, right? Because we always are coached to solve problem in a big way, saying that think 10x, right? So today Google Cloud is doing $10 billion revenue, build systems for $100 billion revenue, right? So, and back in the days, if you see, um, it was a lot about scale, right? So how you build products, how you build your engineering excellence, how you choose things that will scale, right? So from a distributed systems architecture point of view, right? So those are still there, right? So but we were asked to think AI first. How? That what kind of the processes that we could build in AI first. I'll give you a very simple example. I run all the commerce systems for Google Cloud, meaning that anybody buys any Google Cloud the orders, the quote to cash life cycle, or the products that goes through our orders, our systems, right? So where at the end you get provision to your cloud instance, etc., and billing and other stuff is also generated through our systems. In a very traditional way, you'll see that a sales rep interacting with you, giving you a quote, talking about your needs, and finding out what solution to pitch, what are the discounts, and how much to sell you, and what are the profitability, etc. And and we start thinking that why this process has to be that way, right? Why the sales rep has to come every day and do this kind of things? I'll go find out which are my customer, who are my prospects, what are the leads, what products they need. What if all of these things are done by an AI assistant in an augmented way, that you come in and you open up your system, the system proposes you that these are your top 5 customers to deal with today, these are the likely things that they require, we know their background, this is, they're already our customers, they are probably moving to this size of growth, and you should pitch that and all. So we are basically, we're doing the same process, but in an AI augmented way, right? So same things like support. Say you log a ticket, how do we, traditionally we used to do a lot of knowledge base, a lot of routing, a lot of writing, a lot of documentation to for agents to kind of do their support well. But right now we are actually augmenting our agents with state of the art knowledge graphs and AI solution, right? So right from your call, we know, that there is some issue probably, that you're going to call us. Not just that, we are also doing proactive support, just understanding, learning, what are you doing. Like somebody is going and searching in Google that I don't know how to set up my domain, I just bought Google Cloud. We know you have been searching, you're coming to console, you're searching in the internet. We preempt those supports. We just reach out through our AI solution knows that, hey, somebody is likely going to log a ticket. Just reach out to them saying that, hey, this is what you're looking for, just try it out. And so again, long story short, the the foundational thought is that everything you do, if you take off your traditional mindset, you can question yourself. AI can be leveraged. How, what? Maybe it is assisted, augmented, and fully automated. Of course, putting something fully automated takes a long time, but we see that a lot of assistive and augmentative AI in everyday use is growing every single year.
Yeah, I love that categorization that you gave, assisted, augmented, and fully automated. Yes. So in some or the other capacity, we can expect AI to help us or maybe take over a few things, right? So, in that regard, the kind of audience that we have are very curious in order to know what they should learn, how they should go about this new and changing world. The curriculums are obviously what they are. They haven't been completely up to date in all of the universities. But what can they do outside of their university or their program learning to keep pace with the advancement of the world, to be there with skilled workforce? Because some job roles are changing and it's difficult to predict what will stay, what will not. What can they do to ensure they are quite relevant?
Correct. I think, just to give an example, what Futurense is doing, I'm very excited, right? So, like looking at AI and, augmenting with universities to bring in more additional curriculum is very, very important, because, we have fantastic universities all throughout the world, but we know that changing a curriculum takes time, right? So, by the time it gets rolled in, it is always, not everybody can keep pace with that, right? So I really like in that way what Futurance does for students, right? So I would always say that look at the latest trends, that where the industry is heading and how people are. I mean, I don't have to say you now, by now everybody knows that AI is the game in the town, right? So if you ask me what is the new set of technology, any new set of technology plus AI, right? So if you say IoT, IoT plus AI, right? If you say, software engineering plus AI, right? So if you say self-driving car, cars plus AI, right? So you say biotechnology, some kind of, your body parts, probably your heart is going to get replaced by some machine with plus AI, right? So everything is AI, right? So wherever field, whatever field that you choose, you also know that what is the next set of revolution that's going on, and be ready in advance, right? So when I say ready in advance, of course it's probably, you might not get an on the job training, but probably while you're studying, look at what are the ways to get exposure to it. Like for example, in Google Cloud or any other cloud technologies, you might do get a lot of free credit to do experimentation, to see that you can get some of these flavors of AI, or go through some of this additional curriculum investment, right? So when we have spent so much of money in our technology education fields, maybe a little more in terms of the latest world technology, and plus get mentorship from the town. You don't have to find a big shot to find mentorship. You might find that person, your college senior, or your university, alumni, etc., right? So where you can reach out and just get some inspiration and examples from them, that how things are, right? So these kind of things would keep us ahead, right? So, and whenever these days people ask me, and they predominantly also in mentorship, people ask me that how do I create an AI ML career. As I said you before, um, there will be standalone jobs for AI/ML, but there'll be AI/ML everywhere, right? So, like for example, in Google, if you see, there is, if you only want to do AI/ML stuff, there's Google research team, right? So they only do research, right?
Right.
So
Yes.
data science and all, but those teams are relatively smaller, right? So compared to the whole gamut of engineering that goes in, be it YouTube or Google or cloud or anything, right? So choose your field, right? So don't say that I only have to go to AI/ML. If you know your field, you'd also know how AI and ML works, or maybe generative AI on top of it, and you can be a pioneer of your area plus AI. That will keep you ahead, right? So that will keep you much ahead from getting into a only complete specialization field of AI ML, right? So
Right.
at some point you can advance to that, but I would recommend step by step. Like for example, a cloud engineer comes to me, I said that be very sure about understanding of Google Cloud, for example, right? Or what kind of infrastructure, VMs, compute, what kind of hardware that we offer, what kind of platforms that we offer, what is security means, what is on top of that, learn AI, right? So that you can know how to put AI platforms into usage. So that would be my advice for a general piece of guidance, and this way you can be ahead.
Yeah, that was wonderful. You answered a bunch of questions I had actually in one go. You mentioned mentorship, and I do agree with you that it's a very important way to keep up with the industry and gain from another person's experience. So, what is the importance of networking here? How do people, let's say in colleges or maybe people who are learning now, want to transition? They build a network with the right kind of people. How do they go about it and then get that guidance from them?
Yeah, so I think networking could be, there are many different flavors of networking, right? So networking, if you're working in a company, you might find networking within the company itself, right, where you have access to physical people, right? So where you know what they're working on, that is, in my view, that is the best possible mentorship that you could get. The second stage of mentorship is your from your alumni network, right? So from your college, or your seniors, or your fellow friends might be doing something, just having a word with them will at least give you some real world perceptions, clarifications at that point of time. More than that, I would say that everybody should do is that go through social media, right? So like LinkedIn, right? So there is a lot of articles, there is a lot of people that you find around with your similar skills. Try to join different groups, try to listen in, and maybe there'll be a person or two that is similar like you, right? So, and they can help you guide and give you few words of wisdom. What I always tell people, that networking is not teaching, or mentorship is not teaching, it's in guidance, right? So it's sort of an coaching, right? So versus teaching, where the person helps you show the path, but you have to walk yourself, right? So you go do your research, take those mentors words, and go your do your studies or research, and then come back and excite your mentor as well, saying that, look, you have told me XYZ, and I explored and I found it useful, or I didn't find it useful, or I don't know, can you help me navigate through the next set of things, right? So that's where I think people usually have a gap, saying that, hey, somebody will teach me doing things. No, somebody will tell you that what's the path ahead, and you still have to walk yourself.
Uh, You have a way of putting things, Tushar, I must say. So, how does someone graduating maybe tomorrow become the next Tushar 10, 20 years down the line? What would be your top two or three advices?
I'm sure this generation will be better than me. I would, I would, I would love to see, because see, the access of information was so low during my time, right? So it has to be read through books, or some old manuals, or some systems that you have to wonder yourself and learn. I think this next generation, I feel that there is amazing amount of information available, right? So I would just say that if you are starting your career, early part of your career, just you know uh, be be an explorer, right? So learn more, contribute, and all those things. Be a better version of yourself every day. Take ownership. Don't be afraid of failures, right? So we always say at Google that fail fast, right? So if you don't take risks and fail fast, you will not innovate, right? So uh, so so learn and experiment and try, and just keep moving, right? So and you will be a better version of yourself at some point of time. So, and maybe much better than me. That I wish everyone all the best, and I would love to see that some of these people are being our next leaders, like Sundar Pichais or whatever it is, right? So India is such a fast growing country, even not just India, but throughout the world, that we are changing. Every country is rapidly developing with the help of AI. So I really hope to see the next generation of leaders with the new way of thinking, and kind of lead our world.
Well, thank you for your kind words, Tushar, I must say. Uh, Now, you mentioned India and the other countries in the world fa growing fast as well. And you have worked in India with Indian teams and much more so with all countries over the world at this point, especially US teams. What are some major cultural differences or things that we can learn from US work culture? And maybe we can adopt and be better because of it.
Yeah, I'll tell you that, I just a little bit of background. So I lived throughout the world. So I lived a year in Singapore, 6 years in Amsterdam in Europe, and 10 years in US before I came back to India. So the cultural diversity, at the end, if you see, an engineer is an engineer, right? So they speak the same language, they do the same coding, they have the same thought process at the end. But the cultural shift is that, how this particular cultures teach you to be a better version. Everybody has their own pros and cons, right? So if, since you asked only about US, um, I feel that, I came from the Silicon Valley, right? So I was in Bay Area for 10 years. I enjoyed the raw talent in Silicon Valley, right? So people are eager to make a difference, and research, and those kind of opportunities were also available, right? If you see all big companies, be it from Google to Apple to, you know, Meta, everybody is around the valley, right? Nvidia or whoever it is, right? So name a company, big company, technology company would be in Bay Area. So um, my amazing growth in US was just to be with the brilliant minds that were there. They're constantly innovating, and seeing some of these companies grow. Like, for example, I spoke a lot about Waymo. I don't think I would have got such an opportunity, being in the heart of innovation, where people are not afraid to think wild, right? So like space tourism, right? So those are the fanciest thing that I liked. And what I like in US also is, like, um, people are more direct, right? So and the way we interact in certain things, people are they take it in a more pragmatic way than a non-emotional way, right? So when things comes in, we they were like, um, they they go into depth and before committing, and telling the right thing. But if you see similar thing in the engineers are very good in both sides. But here we have cultural issues, right? We don't like to say no and all those things. We commit probably sometimes, then go think that, oh my
Mm,
god, I said that, but this might not happen, or maybe I did a wrong commitment. So that's the primary difference in terms of communication, thought process. But at the end, both teams get things done. But I like the directness in the US, where um, people don't feel obligated to say yes, and they go do their research, and the pressure they take it in a positive way, right? So those are primarily things in terms of communication, and the thought process is based on different culture aspects.
absolutely. So, uh, when can we expect Waymo to debut in India? Any?
I don't think it will ever come in India. Sorry to say that, because actually, certain products are developed for a market fit, right? So if you see, India is probably the most populous country at this point of time, right? So we have the highest population. We It's a country where the infrastructure is continuously evolving, right? So um, and we have people at disposal, right? So actually, the self-driving cars or trucks or anything that is developed for a developed market, where we don't have enough people to to be the chauffeurs, or the truck drivers, etc. There's a heavy shortages in Western countries, right? So, and we know that transportation is heart of development of any country, right? So, be it your food or things has to move around, right? People and things have to move around, right? So they have to transit. So this is this is not this is a Western world problem that is being solved. I think India, uh, we sometimes we our traffic system is not as efficient in terms of signals and the road quality and all those things. It's not a problem to solve here, but we will definitely, we have so many people, and we have many other different problem to solve, like for example GPay, right? So I feel GPay, like our UPI payment systems is one of the wonders that how it works, right, with every small shop, right? So now getting more and more AI enabled payment solution will, so we will have our own flavors of solving problems, but we wouldn't take some product which is not a market fit, and and try to achieve it here.
And this was a mini masterclass on business thinking, I think, thinking about the target market and the problems, how they are different for different parts of the world. Yeah. And it has been lovely,
Absolutely.
yeah, getting to hear all of this from you, getting to learn and grow from your knowledge and repertoire of experience. Any final advice for the diverse set of people that we have over here who are tech focused? What can they do tomorrow that will make an impact in their lives and probably down their careers as well?
What would they do tomorrow, right? So I think you're already here, so you're motivated. Of course, you care about yourself, right? So, and I would say that continue the journey, right? So these days, every day, even a business person comes to me, I tell them that please understand AI, because you will make my life easier next time. Because when I go and say that I'll build the solution for you in an AI enabled way, you shouldn't be worried that, oh, will it take my job away? No, it is basically creating a new segment and an era altogether, right? So I would say, just whatever you're doing, have a flavor of AI, not meaning that you understand how to do data science and machine learning. Yeah, if you're interested, some of you might be already very good at it, continue to do that. But all I advise everybody is that have an understanding that, as I said, that how and where AI can be applied, that will change our lives. For example, assisted, augmented, or fully automated, right? So you agree or you disagree, this is going to come in. So the more foundational product understanding that you have, you will be very, very successful in your business world as well, right? So right now, every single requirement that comes to me, and I start thinking at this age also, I'm not as smart or energetic as you all, but I have to start thinking that why can't AI do it, and what would I do, how many people are working on it. It's not necessarily to replace jobs. It's about having that efficiency, so that we can harness our resourcing gains and apply it somewhere, right? So I sometimes really I'm a believer of aliens, right? So, and I fascinate a lot of space travel and all those things. I think as on we advance our AI technologies, probably we will be able to, wander around the space and explore and send out bots and, figure out what's happening, right? So think it in that way, and I would say that try to add a flavor of AI understanding and in everything that you do. Even I have some friends who are doctors. They are thinking about AI, you know, saying that can I preempt some of these checkups through some AI, right? Even be it a very simple 5 questions, right? So to redirect them, or maybe having some follow-up system where they know that whether the treatment they have done is like, kind of, really solve the problem, and or it did not, right? So everywhere, AI is going to come. It's not a scary thing. It is temporarily, every change that came into our world is scary, but it has brought something good, right? So even if you see that maybe hundreds of years of back, when the horse carriages or the carts were there, and when the first cars Henry Ford created, everybody was scared, saying that what would happen to our business. But see, only transportation brought so much a revolution that it created infrastructure, it created jobs, it probably, paved the way to where we are right now thinking about AI. So I definitely think that there will be certainly big benefits as on we adopt the new possibilities will open up where you
Yeah.
will be able to apply your learnings.
Yeah, as you had said before, a new era is probably ushered in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And finally, you are a well-traveled man, Tushar. Any one place that you think everyone should visit once in their lifetime?
My favorite places, I like all places in Europe, by the way, right? So from a travel perspective, one of my favorite places is Rome. So I would love to go to Rome or some places like Paris. Um, these are all fascinating. Rome has 365 plus churches. Almost every day you can go. The architecture is marvelous. Paris is such a dreamy city. So whenever I go, I was fortunate to go 6 times to Paris. Almost every year I used to drive when I was living in Europe. So I would definitely say that explore Europe, the culture, the food, the places, the architecture is very very different, and that's those are the places I would love to go back again. In fact, and I'll continue to go whenever I get a chance.
Sure. Well, on that light note, lovely conversation with you, lovely talking to you. We have, I don't know, probably kept you awake long enough already. Thank you for spending your time of the day with us.
No worries. Happy Friday, and I wish you all the best. And thank you, Futurense, for inspiring students around the world. Really appreciate it.
And
Thanks.
thank you for your time and for being associated with us. It's always lovely to talk to you and get to learn new things. Hope to see you soon again. Thanks for your
Absolutely.
time, Tushar. And thanks
All right.
everyone for attending.
Take care, everybody.
Yeah,
Bye
thank
bye.
you.